It was a dark and stormy night, and the wind was howling through the trees. The thunder and lightning seemed to be echoing off in the distance, and the rain was pouring down. Jeff was walking down an old dirt road trying to find his way home. Suddenly, he heard an eerie howl and he stopped in his tracks. Jeff looked around, but he couldn't see anything in the darkness. He started to creep forward when he heard the howl again, much closer this time. Jeff looked around and saw a large black dog standing in the middle of the road. His eyes glowed red, and its fur seemed to be standing up on end. He froze in fear, realizing that this must be a hellhound. He slowly backed away from the hound following him. Jeff ran as fast as he could, but it easily kept up with him. He eventually reached a clearing and stopped running. He whipped around to face the hound, and it was still there. Growling and snarling, it was hounding him. He knew he couldn't run anymore, so he closed his eyes and prepared for the worst. But then something strange happened. The hound stopped growling and slowly started to back away from it. Jeff opened his eyes and saw that it was now slowly walking away into the darkness. He waited until it was all the way out of sight. Then Jeff slowly made his way home. He never saw the hound again, and he never told anyone what had happened that night. He knew that he was lucky to have escaped unharmed, and he thanked whatever forces had saved him from the wrath of the Hellhound. From ancient mythology to modern-day sightings, the Hellhound has become a topic of great debate and speculation. Hellhounds are well known in cryptid lore all over the world. There are times when the gulf between whether they're real flesh and blood animals or paranormal phenomena or just some local folklore is not clear-cut and evades such a simple classification. One such enigmatic beast has surely got to be the infamous black hellhounds. Hellhounds in one form or another have been recorded throughout human history from a variety of far-flung cultures. They lope about lonely country roads, along seashores and in graveyards, and in remote forested areas and fields. In some areas, it's bad luck to see one. They are omens of misfortune, and sometimes even death. There are those who believe these creatures are real and can be seen in certain locations, while others think it's simply a mythical beast with no basis in reality. No matter your opinion, one thing is certain: these creatures have left a lasting impression on those who have encountered them. In this video, I'll be examining the evidence behind the Hellhound and piecing together the mystery of this supernatural creature. I'll be looking at its history, the various sightings, and exploring the various theories and beliefs behind the phenomenon. I'll also be discussing the implications that come with such a creature and what it may mean for the future. So, join me as we venture into the unknown to uncover the truth behind the Hellhound. Hellhounds are described as truly frightening beasts. Their shaggy or matted fur is as black as coal, with large, demonic eyes that are typically described as burning like a flame, with a malevolent red, green, or yellow glow. Although some accounts say they have only one single luminous eye. You have to keep an eye out for them. Usually, they're described as having formidable claws, vicious-looking fangs, and as being supernaturally agile, fast, and strong, even for large predatory animals like themselves. They can outrun a cheetah in a race and rip down trees with their claws. And sometimes they have the ability to talk. I wonder if their bark is worse than their bite. These phantom canines are considerably larger than a normal dog. A hellhound is a monstrous creature leashed to the spiritual world, literally. Their size can range anywhere from a mastiff all the way up to a full-grown lion. Their entire body glows with an eerie light. They are sometimes accompanied by the sound of chains. The most terrifying individuals may have multiple heads, or, eerie still, have no head at all. Must be hard to keep a collar on them. Spotting a hellhound can be difficult since they're mostly nocturnal creatures and their black hair blends in with the darkness of the night. Still, if you keep alert, you might smell a sulfurous brimstone odor as the beast gets closer, or you might notice a trail of scorched ground where its path crosses yours. The Black Hounds have many supernatural skills that make them both powerful allies and fearsome enemies. They are also masters of disguise, able to conjure up cloaks of mist, shapeshift into various forms, and even vanish into thin air. Poof. In cultures that associate fire with hell, the hounds are also able to play tricks with flames. Their fiery claws are as hot as an orange brand when they lash out. They are brilliant at dramatic entrances and exits, and conjuring up pillars of fire to transport themselves. Oh, like David Copperfield. The lore of the Hellhound varies depending on what part of the world you're in. For instance, according to ancient Greek mythology, Hades, the god of the underworld, kept a monstrous hellhound named Cerberus at the mouth of the underworld to prevent dead souls from escaping back into the world above. Cerberus has 3 heads with ferocious jaws and eyes and the tail of a snake. His dog food bill must have been outrageous. At one point in history, he was captured by Heracles and removed from the underworld, which caused him so much distress that he vomited poison and howled with grief. Eventually, he was returned back to his home. Oh, poor little fella. In China, a huge black demon dog named Tiango is blamed for causing eclipses by eating the sun or the moon. In Japan, A wolf-like demon called Akuri Inu is said to follow men and women who travel by night. If the traveler has a worthy heart, the Akuri Inu will protect him from other monsters. If, however, the traveler displays cowardice or clumsiness, the hound will devour him. It's like feast or famine with this thing. England is haunted by more hellhounds than any other country in the world. From bustling coastal towns to lonely estates on the moor, each region has its own incarnation of the hound. The Barghest belongs to the Yorkshire area in northern England. He is noted for his talent as a shapeshifter, frequently appearing as a headless woman or a white cat or rabbit, as well as the traditional black dog. He is also less shy than other hellhounds, and he is quite comfortable loping into a town square. Damn, could you imagine? Black Shuck belongs to the coastal areas of Norfolk, Essex, and Suffolk. He is distinguished by an unusual physical trait. He has only one eye, glowing in the center of his forehead. Generally, Black Shuck is one of the gentlest hellhounds, choosing to spend his time protecting women and young girls when they have to travel at night. However, in the 16th century, he made an infamous attack on 2 churches, killing 2 people and causing the steeple to fall through the roof. Damn, he brought the house down. The Cúna Nún belongs to Wales. Unlike other hellhounds who generally travel alone, the Cúna Nún travels with a collection of other supernatural characters called the Wild Hunt. When they aren't joining in the sport of the Wild Hunt, they spend their time guiding lost souls to the other world, a paradise that can be reached after death. The Hellhound belongs to Devon. Like some other bearers of death, this hound is headless. He rarely interacts with humans, but his wailing cry can be heard by night travelers and is frequently interpreted as an omen of death. How in the hell can it howl without a head? The Black Dog of Bully belongs to the English Channel Islands. It's the fastest of all hellhounds, and it likes to terrify travelers by galloping in circles around them. Sometimes this monstrous beast can run so fast that it actually creates a storm. The hound is known to wear a broken chain draped around its body, but no explanation of the chain has been given. In early Norse culture, the god Odin was said to be accompanied by 1 or 2 monstrous wolves who helped protect him from danger. In one epic poem, Odin rides to Hell, the Viking underworld, and encounters a hound there who was guarding the entryway. It's believed that Odin's wolves, or these hounds, may have inspired many of England's stories about hellhounds and Avengers Endgame. Long after the Vikings had passed into the pages of history, Scandinavia continued to be haunted by church grims. These spectral black dogs guard the churches where they live, protecting it from evil spirits who might try to invade the sacred ground. The indigenous people of Mexico and Central America have many legends about the Cadejo, a spirit dog that is often seen by travelers, especially at night. Cadejos come in two colors, white and black. Well, that's original. The white spirits are benevolent and will protect travelers from harm. But the black spirits are evil and will kill travelers if they have the chance. Both versions of this hound have goat hooves and sometimes horns. They also have a unique gift. They can speak with humans. However, if you listen to them, you'll go insane. I know folks like that. These frightening creatures were said to be anything from the ghosts of dead travelers to the spirits of dead hounds awaiting the return of their masters to mysterious gardens of forbidden knowledge to being the devil himself. Seeing a hellhound or even hearing one howl may be an omen or even a cause of death. Hellhounds are called the bearers of death because they were supposedly created by ancient demons to serve as heralds of death. According to legend, seeing one will lead to a person's death. Sometimes it's said to be once. Other times it requires 3 sightings for the curse to take effect and kill the person. You know what they say, 3rd time's a charm. These factors make the hellhound a feared symbol of bad things that are about to happen. Either way, they are not a welcome sight. They are often assigned to guard the entrances to the world of the dead, such as graveyards and burial grounds, or undertake other duties related to the afterlife or the supernatural, such as hunting lost souls or guarding a supernatural treasure. Hellhounds not only are guards for cemeteries, but they are often seen as helper dogs for those who are about to pass on. They can show up to a family member and sort of inform them of a loved one's passing. I don't think that would make things any less creepier, though. The earliest record of the sighting of a hellhound goes all the way back to 1127, and it's buried in a fascinating document called the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. Along with records of a meeting between England's King Henry and Scotland's King David, there's mention of a Sunday in Peterborough. Many people reported seeing a group of hunters, but they weren't exactly earthly hunters. These hunters were large, solid black, and loathsome. Sounds like a wraith. Their ugly hounds were all black with wide eyes, and they rode on black horses and black bucks. Wait a minute, the hounds or the hunters? They were seen in the Deer Park part of Peterborough and in the woods near the town of Stamford. Nearby monks reported hearing the blasts of the horns, which they blew in the night. A fearsome black dog appeared inside a church in Bungay, Suffolk, England on August 4th, 1577, accompanied by massive flashes of fire during a violent thunderstorm. The black dog charged down the aisle, killing 2 people and injured a few others, then appeared 7 miles away at a church in Blythburgh where its claws left burn marks on the church door. Yikes! Fast forward a few centuries. In 1992, late on a Saturday night, Beth and Jeremy were heading home to Hagerstown, Maryland. A fog had settled over the road that runs through the hilly terrain. The area is famous as a haunted place, and the fog intensifies the spookiness of the night. Uh-oh, it's dog fog. There aren't many other cars on the road, and Jeremy's headlight beams don't penetrate the fog very far ahead. All of a sudden, a dark shape looms out in the mist. It's a huge dog with enormous paws, smack in the middle of the road. Its glowing yellow eyes stare straight at Jeremy. Beth screams as she also sees the dog. Jeremy slams on the brakes and swerves, knowing that he's probably gonna hit the creature. The SUV shudders with a sickening thump of an impact. Jeremy stops and the shaken teens get out and look behind them, half expecting to find the mangled body of a dog. They are shocked to find no trace of the animal, dead or alive. Doggone. There is no damage, not even a scratch to the SUV. Jeremy and Beth have just had a frightful encounter with the snarly Yow, South Mountain's famous spectral black dog. In modern times, such reports drew the interest of paranormal and cryptid investigators of the TV show Mountain Monsters, who went to that area for an investigation. The excursion would turn out to be pretty bizarre. The investigators spoke with the farmers in the area who showed them torn apart carcasses of livestock and gave spooky accounts of something large and dark prowling through the wilderness. They were also shown a video of the beast, as well as paw prints measuring 8 inches long. During the investigation, the team built a bamboo drop cage and baited it with hog shoulders in an effort to lure it out. Although they didn't catch it, they could hear something crashing around in the brush, growling, and could clearly see a large shadow. Moving up to Romulus, Michigan, we also have reports of canine monstrosities. The witness, known as S. Castilla, claimed that he had been living with his family at a cabin on a farm there at the time, which was surrounded by thick woods that was the home of something rather unusual, to say the least. According to Castilla, there was some sort of dog creature about the size of a Great Dane with glowing red eyes that skulked about in the darkness there in the evening hours. He would say of it, "We had this really strange dog creature that would just kind of hang around the property. I say dog creature because this thing was far too big and intelligent to be a stray dog. It had very pronounced red eyes. I'm not saying it was a werewolf or a dog man, but more like a giant dog. The dog would frequently stalk the edge of our woods on our property in the day. It seemed to have no fear. My uncle would yell at it or throw something towards it to try to scare it off, but it would simply charge at him like a ram for a short distance. We would frequently find dead chickens or rabbits after thunderstorms. We knew it was that dog thing because it would leave huge paw prints in the mud and claw marks on the window ledges. Sometimes we would find the screens ripped from our screen doors and windows. It would never outright attack us, but it did seem to enjoy taunting us and harassing us. So it's a little bit of a sadist. This was all frightening enough, but it got even weirder when it even more bizarrely began to speak. Castilla claims that his mother found him one night sitting by the window talking to the creature, and he would describe the surreal scene like this. Here we go. One summer night, my mom had left the window open in my bedroom to cool the room off so I could sleep. She was on her way to the bathroom and went by my room, and she heard me talking to someone. When she opened the door, she saw me standing in my bed. I was talking towards the window. I wasn't screaming or freaking out, but seemed to be transfixed and talking in a low voice towards the window. When she looked toward the window, the dog had its two front paws pushed through the screen and was looking through the window at us and making a low growl. Its eyes glared red. I always recall its eyes. I could see them out in the woods sometimes at night. I have bad dreams about it from time to time. The boy's mother then threw a beer bottle at the thing to chase it off. That's pretty fucking redneck there. But for the next few weeks, Castilla displayed odd behavior, and the house pets would not go near him. He would also blurt out cryptic messages such as, "We don't want you here. Our ghosts are food." Or, "God thinks you're bad." And would sometimes intentionally prick himself with sharp objects until he drew blood. Oh man, that thing made him a cutter. It almost seemed as if the thing at the window had crawled into his head somehow, and that this was kind of like a demonic possession to an extent. The frightening ordeal would finally come to an end when his uncle shot it with a rifle. Castilla fills us in. My uncle was out back working on his truck when he saw the dog at the edge of the woods making its way in towards the rabbit pen. At this point, he was tired of dealing with it and went into the house to get his .22. He fired at it and hit it in the rear. The dog turned and ran into the woods. We didn't see it anymore after that. In nearby Wisconsin, we have reports emanating from a place called Meridian Island on the Chippewa River, which, according to a few witness accounts, seems to be prowled by some sort of canine beast. One report comes from a young couple by the names of Shelley Touchstone and Chris Weiner, who were at the island's boat landing looking for a secluded spot. With a name like Weiner, you know what they were doing. A thick fog or mist began to form out of nowhere and seemed to instill an inexplicable dread in them. They then heard something moving about and growling in a menacing fashion just out of the periphery of their vision. They spotted a large shadow as big as a bear with two pinpoints of glowing red eyes. Well, that'll deflate the mood, if you know what I mean. On another occasion, two men named Mike Bogozzi and Jeremy Stark were in the very same area when they too felt a sudden onset of dread and witnessed a fog congeal out of nowhere. Dog fog. They then spotted a large black hound with matted, filthy hair, which gave chase as they ran away. They only managed to evade it when they got to their car and locked the doors. After which, it meandered off into the wilderness and vanished. These cases hit a couple of interesting points in that hellhounds are supposedly fond of areas near water, and also that many supernatural phenomena seem to involve a fog or a mist, although whatever this connection may be is unknown. Going back down south, we have a sighting in the state of Louisiana. The report comes from the area of Robberline, Louisiana in 1995 and concerns a witness who was in a graveyard looking for paranormal phenomena. Be careful what you wish for, isn't that what they say? As they pushed forward into the cemetery, they heard strange growling noises, and the witness describes what happened next. We shined our flashlights all over the graveyard. It was small and enclosed by a fence. I said it must be a dog tied over at the parsonage. The church and the parsonage was about 500 feet away. So I shined around, and over in the corner of the graveyard, I saw 4 fresh graves. They were apart from all the other graves. They had no flowers, just 2 big graves and 2 small ones marked by 4 iron crosses. As we went to explore, we heard the growling get louder. I said, "Lanny, is that dog loose?" I kind of felt a little safe, knowing it would be hard for it to jump the fence. But as we got closer to the grave, my hairs on my neck stood up and I got chills. My friend got the same feeling. The growls had a sound like Rottweilers. They chilled you to the bone and you felt something wasn't right. We continued hearing the snarling as we got a few feet from the grave. The growls were not a part of a body. They were disembodied. Then I tried to rationalize it in my head. Is it a couple of loose, mean dogs outside the gate? Is it a group of coyotes? But as we shined the light, this time we saw them. 2 sets of glowing red eyes, not attached to a body. They were only 3 feet away and stood guard by them graves. My friend froze in fright and pushed me out front. What a chicken shit. I would have Rambo'd it. He was crying about leaving his gun. I said, "Lanny, your gun won't help against this." The dogs were vicious. And I said, "Lanny, whatever you do, don't run." I prayed for the guidance. I hadn't been to church in many a year, but I knew what I was dealing with was straight from hell. I looked right at him. I said, "I know what you are." They snarled louder. My friend was really upset and wanting his mama. I said, "Lanny, please." I said, "In the name of Jesus Christ, will you allow us to leave, as we came in peace and alone?" We slowly backed up, and as we got to the gate, we left. All the way over on the other side of the country, we come to California, which has a few accounts of hellhounds of its own. From American Canyon, California, comes an account in 2014 from a 28-year-old witness known as Jedediah. His parents went all Old Testament on him. He claims that one night he was walking back from a market. He heard an ear-piercing howl echo out into the night. He soon caught sight of a very large dog, which he at first took to be a stray or someone's pet. However, it seemed to be too large to be such a thing. As he looked more closely, he saw that it seemed to have red glowing eyes and to be entangled in what looked to be barbed wire. He would say what happened next. At this point, I was scared. I continued on my way home, and I found myself dreading each corner, feeling another sighting of this hellish creature. I had almost made it home when the beast appeared again. This time it stood directly in my path. I was frozen in fear, hair standing on end, and I closed my eyes, fearing an attack. It started to growl, a deep, rumbling growl, one that I felt deep in my soul, one that threatens to turn my legs to jello. Dude, you gotta stop skipping leg day. I don't know what compelled me to do so, but I started praying to make this beast leave. But the growling intensified. It seemed as if the growl just pulsated through my mind, doing everything in its power to get me to stop praying. As I continued to pray, the growl slowly dissipated. When I finally opened my eyes, all that was left was scorch marks where the dog stood. To this day, I have yet to see the same dog or another like it. So this begs the question, what did I see? A hellhound? A spectral creature? Some sort of demon? I will never know. But then again, I'm not sure I want to. Misidentification of large wild animals such as wolves, coyotes, or foxes is one of the most common and logical explanations for hellhound sightings. In some cases, people may mistake a large wild animal for a mythical beast due to its size, darkness, or the context of the sighting. For example, a large wolf may appear to look like a hellhound if it is seen in a dark and mysterious setting, like at a graveyard. Additionally, some species of large wild dogs, such as the black-backed jackal or the maned wolf, may be mistaken for a hellhound due to their size and coloration. In some cases, people may experience vivid hallucinations related to mythical creatures, such as hellhounds, due to the effects of certain medications or mental illnesses. Additionally, hallucinations related to mythical creatures may be caused by the use of certain recreational drugs, like psychedelic mushrooms or LSD. Whoa! In these cases, the person experiencing the hallucination is likely to be unable to distinguish between reality and their hallucination, resulting in a sighting of a hellhound. Man, that'd be a bad trip, dude. Personification of natural phenomena such as storms, earthquakes, or other disasters is another. In some cases, people may attribute supernatural powers to certain natural phenomena, then assign them a mythical form, like a hellhound. For example, a thunderstorm may be personified as a hellhound, creating a frightful atmosphere and leading to sightings of a mythical beast. Additionally, some people may believe that natural disasters are caused by mythical creatures, such as hellhounds, in order to explain why the event took place. So, hellhounds are responsible for climate change. In some cases, people may intentionally create hoaxes related to mythical creatures, such as hellhounds, in order to gain attention or spread fear. For example, someone may create a false story about a hellhound in order to generate interest in a certain location or to just generally freak people out. Many of the stories of seeing a black dog involved waking up from a sound sleep and seeing one at the foot of the bed. That's likely a byproduct of sleep paralysis, which happens when your brain and your body get out of sync during the process of waking up. Your mind's awake, but you can't move. And some people have been known to see spectral forms. Oh man, that would really suck. And what about the stories about spectral dogs spotted by people who definitely aren't asleep? Part of that explanation is likely the reflective nature of the dog's eyes. You know what that's all about if you ever tried to snap a photo of your dog with the flash on. Dogs have an extra layer of reflective tissue in their eyes, and not only does it help them see better in the dark, but it reflects light and can make them pretty creepy looking. Oh, and here's some food for thought. A lot of those hellhound stories involve someone walking home from the pub late at night. So, there's that. And as for why our collective consciousness created evil dogs in the first place, it's possible it has something to do with their reputation as scavengers. While hellhounds are associated with death, executions, and graveyards, real flesh and blood dogs have been recorded scavenging for anything they can find to eat. And yes, in extreme cases, that means dead bodies. As far back as ancient Egypt, they were associated with graveyards, but there's a bit more to it. When we see animals feeding on the remains of the dead, we know there's something inherently wrong about the death. The deceased wasn't cared for, and that suggests an unnatural end. From there, it's just a short hop, skip, and a jump to the supernatural, and man's best friend just became man's worst nightmare. In conclusion, the legend of the Hellhound is one that has captivated folks for ages. While there is no scientific evidence that these mythical beasts actually exist, their eerie presence has been invoked in stories and folklore around the world. From the ancient Greeks to modern-day horror films, the idea of a spectral dog with supernatural abilities has persisted throughout history. This video has explored the various cultural interpretations of this creature and illuminated how its image has evolved over time. Whether or not you believe in the existence of these creatures, it's impossible to deny that the Hellhound has had a powerful influence on the collective imagination. The mystery of the Hellhound is a fascinating topic that invites us to explore our own beliefs and preconceptions about the supernatural. It's a reminder that the unknown can be both terrifying and awe-inspiring. So, the next time you hear the distant howl of a spectral dog in the night, don't be afraid to open your mind to the possibilities of the paranormal world. The legend of the Hellhound is a captivating one, and it has been a source of fear and fascination for many generations. Its enduring presence in stories, films, and folklore is a testament to the power of the imagination and the awe-inspiring nature of the unknown. No matter what your beliefs may be, the mystery and lore of the Hellhound is an interesting topic to explore. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of night, some mysteries never fail to captivate us. So, keep an open mind, and the legend of the Hellhound will continue to haunt us for many, many years to come.